Want to leave Disney World? Want to live at Disney World? I'll make it a realty reality. Everything from Dr. Phillips to Davenport, Claremont to Kissimmee, Winter Garden or Windermere, and Disney's own Celebration at Golden Oak. I'm Realtor Victor Nawrocki, and right now it's Disney at your doorstep. Hey!
Hey, how you doing?
Worked.
It's always good when it works the first time, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I had my camera like this, and then when I got on screen, I was a big black blotch. I looked like a shadow person, you know. So I wanted everybody to see my beautiful view, and well. So it's a little bit. It's okay.
It's better when the fireworks are going.
I know. We were just talking about that, and I just want the fireworks so soon. Soon.
Yeah. Hopefully not too much longer.
I know. I'm hoping that too. There's 35 people watching us right now from all across the world.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I know. It's amazing how many people, you know, I always say, you know, one of my customers who just bought in Waterloo is on.
Yep. And that's a great community, just less than half a mile from here.
Yeah.
It's really nice there. It's starting to fill in. They are putting a Publix over there, which is.
Oh, when did you hear that?
Oh gosh, maybe two and a half weeks ago. There was a post that they're building at something called Waterloo Village, and it's going to be anchored with a Publix. So it's exciting.
Well, I knew commercial was going in there.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are watching, we're talking about just west of Disney World. Now, this whole section of Winter Garden was privately owned until, oh gosh, I mean, it was probably 10, 15 years ago that they sold it off. And I want to find the history because I see who owned it, but I don't know if those were Disney ownership. Originally, Disney didn't want, to have neighbors. So they just bought all this cheap land that we were,
Right.
Yeah,
they have been buying up. In fact, they just bought a chunk of land, literally, in the development I am in. They bought a chunk of land that, when you look at the trees over here, that's Disney property. I mean, it's.
And Susan's pointing out we're talking about the section of Winter Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you go online and you say, "Let me look at Winter Garden," you get historic Winter Garden, which is far north of here. It's probably 25-minute drive.
Yep.
Where they have Old Town, incredible restaurants. And if I wasn't a Disney fanatic and wanted to see the fireworks, which of course I don't have now, I would be up there because it's so great that you can walk to this terrific strip and get $5 chocolate bars. But that's not that's not a problem. That's someday I'll be able to afford those chocolate bars. They do have a loan officer at the door that allows you to but it's great. I mean, they have this one center that, if you're familiar with Faneuil Hall in Boston, where they have all these different eateries. That's what it reminds me of. It's and up there is with Old Town is you've got historic houses that are almost 120 years old. Some of them. Some of them a little newer. And then we have brand new construction right around the corner in land that was just vacant for years and years and years.
Yeah, I was surprised when we first started looking for homes. When you drove us to this part of the west side of Disney World, I was very surprised at how underdeveloped it was. I had thought there would be houses everywhere, just based on the fact that it was next to a major tourist attraction. And when we were driving around here, I was kind of shocked that there were all these plots of land and a lot of forest and greenery just wide open. And,
Yeah.
it just kind of took me back. I was like, boy, I would have thought this would have been booming around here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny. I don't believe there's a lot more areas around where I am and you are, because you're my neighbor by, like 2/10 of a mile. Um,
Right. Yep.
I don't believe, and that's when I really started. When we were looking, I started going, I really should live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so a lot of this is, whenever you see a building, you see a
Hmm.
um, conservation area too that can't be
Yeah.
built on. So, and there's a lot of that here, but I am concerned because I know that Disney bought up the property right behind you.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. And
but if I
I
can
think
walk to an amusement park, I will take it.
if they could just burrow a trail right through there, that would be fine
Well,
with me. But,
I know both of us could walk if we had the guts to cross that creek.
watch
I
out for
think
the
we should all
alligator.
pool our money together and make a little bridge, and then we can walk. We could just
Yeah.
walk
So
in.
they've been buying little parcels of land just near our development, and they're buying it for one of two reasons. One, that it could be for buffer, like you mentioned, just
Mhm.
kind of have some buffer between, the parks and resorts and the communities. The other reason they may be buying it is to expand their solar farm, because
Yes.
Disney has a huge solar farm, not only near us but also around property, and they're trying to become 100% energy dependent in the next, I think, 10 years. They said so. Yeah, that's it's big shoes to fill, but
Yeah.
um,
Well,
but they do.
I heard, you may know if this is true. I heard that their solar farm right now does does enough energy for two parks.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. I think they said 60% is where they're at right now. Um,
Really?
yeah, that's what I'm hearing. And again, for people who don't know, Walt Disney World is basically a self-contained city. They have their own government. They run their own infrastructure, from the roads to
Yes.
the water lines to everything, and it's quite amazing. Their transportation system is run by Disney. So they have a huge responsibility to get everything that they have under control and run it efficiently as possible.
Yeah. You know, I've always, I mean, if you notice right now, we just got a big wind here, right here. I'm
Yeah.
surprised there's not a lot of, um, windmill energy too, wind energy,
Hmm.
because I know when I lived in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, that was they put up the first windmill for energy, and it did all the energy for an entire school.
Hmm.
Um, so I want a windmill in
Yeah.
my backyard, so I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
the air conditioning.
I, I think it probably has more to do with the sight lines of having windmills on
Mhm.
property, but I have to say that Disney has been getting away from the whole sightline thing the last maybe 5 to 7 years. They're building big towers now, and it used to be they would have resort hotels that were 2 stories. Now they're building them 14 stories high. So
Oh, and that
it's
was because so you wouldn't see them.
yes, yeah. They
Uh,
they didn't. When you're in the parks, you don't want to see hotels, and you don't want to be distracted from the park itself. But yeah, any more now, they're just they're putting up buildings. Coronado Springs is a good example. They put a 14 or 16 story hotel there,
yeah.
which is actually quite amazing.
You know, so one of the things I wanted to talk about with you today, if I don't get blown away from the sudden breezes, um, when we first were looking
Yeah.
for a property for you, you started
Hmm.
off looking for condos,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Condos and townhomes. That's
Yeah.
correct. Yep.
Um, I'm not impressed with any of the condos around here. I just think
Right.
for the price point, and I was glad, I was pleased.
Yeah.
Uh, Because we were seeing for townhomes. Now, I like townhomes a lot better than I like condos, because when you're getting a loan, they look at how many people are owner occupants. They look at all these, they look at details that you don't really realize that they're going to look at, and they could deny your loan based on it. So, so I don't like that. I really don't. And also, if there's debt by the HOA, or there's a lawsuit that you don't know about, you're out.
There it goes.
There it goes. There goes your deal. And they do that at the end. It's called the condo questionnaire. They send it to the HOA. It costs you about $150 to get it done. And then you find out you can't buy the house after you've had an appraisal and an inspection.
Right. Yeah.
You can't buy the condo. Never happens with a single family home, because you own the home.
Right. There's definitely different rules for condos versus townhomes versus single family. And, it's good to have an agent who knows all that, because the rules are different, especially in Florida. Florida, has its own set of rules, different than New York, Indiana, Illinois. It doesn't matter. So,
yeah, a lot of things in real estate are done backwards. The most important thing, I would think that the owner of a property should have an appraisal done before they list it for a sale. But you can't get them to do that. You can't get them to go and do that. Did you say that there would be more condos and townhouses, or less? I'm hoping for less. Well, so far they're not. I don't see any condos being built in this area.
But there are existing. There are existing, but you're right.
And they're actually kind of nice. There's one in Windermere that I absolutely love. That place. A 3-bedroom Windermere home in the 220s that's an insane price. That's an insane price. No garages, but I think it's an awesome community, and it's right about 5 minutes from Disney World.
Yeah. So somebody asked about solar panels, and
yes, thank you.
Yeah, you do see some homes that have solar panels on the top of their house, and they collect the energy to provide power for their homes, and then they sell the excess to the power company. But you don't. I don't see too many. I'd say gosh, maybe one in every 100 homes might have it.
Well, now you do not have solar, and you haven't been through a summer yet.
Right.
What has your average electric bill been?
So my last bill from mid-April to mid-May was $135.
Okay, April to May. Okay, it's probably. I would say you're probably going to be about 180 when you get into the 3 summer months.
Yeah, and understand.
And then the winter's always like, it's like always like a breath. It's like, wow.
Right. It's interesting, because the home I'm in is actually what they call a conservative or a energy efficient home would be the best way to put it.
Yes.
They have foam insulation, and they have some things in here that kind of help keep your energy costs down. So, and I would say the bills have been pretty well below what I expected, maybe 20% less than what I thought it would be.
Good. I'm finding now, I moved in, and as you know, I always say I overbought. I wanted the damn view anyway. So
sure.
Anyway, but my bills were pretty good. I think I had 160 last month. So I was like, okay, but I kind of want 0. So I kind of want to get the panels. Now, in answer to the question about solar panels, and then I'll talk to Susan about the fireworks. There are some builders that include solar panels in the sale of their home. You can either lease them or buy them, or buy them out flat. And I just sold one of those. We close tomorrow. And I think it's it's only the second time that I've done that, but it's through one specific builder. So Lennar, yes, is the builder that does it. The other builders don't, but you have to either buy them outright or sign a lease. Now your lease, they say like your lease for the 10 years, should take. When they were giving us the walkthrough 2 days ago, they said that once you've leased it, you may have a zero electric bill or a minimal usage fee from Duke Energy.
Right.
So $10, I'll be happy with that.
Yep.
So and those are that's like 18,000, I think, to add those on. So
yeah.
But speaking of fireworks, Aaron and I live. If we could go up 40 feet, we could see the castle, right?
And most definitely.
Right
in
over
fact,
the trees.
Yeah. In fact, if when they're doing the fireworks, there are times when I'm looking through the trees, I can actually see Cinderella Castle light up, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. Well, I remember when we were, because I was concerned about that because I don't get out there at night. So I went out there a couple times before you actually signed the contract to make sure you could see the fireworks from your house.
Oh yeah.
Because honestly, that's like a freebie. I love that,
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons we purchased this particular house. One of the reasons, but we have a great view of the fireworks every night. We can't quite hear the music, but you stream it on your phone, and it's just like being there.
Well,
so
I'm telling you, my first days here, it was absolute heaven hearing the ferry boats tooting away. Some days you'd hear it plain as day, like you were standing right there.
Yep.
It depends on how clear the sky is. I often hear the music, not now, of course, but
Yeah, and I don't know this for sure, but when the railroad comes back online, I have a feeling we may hear the whistle. The railroad's been down.
We'll hear that. Oh my God, we're going to definitely hear that.
I mean, it's been like a year and a half since the railroad has been out of commission. So when it does come back, I think we will be able to hear it. So,
that's one of my favorite rides. I just love getting on the train, going to the area that I want to get to, getting off or being in that area. I mean, I'll walk all the way back from Tomorrowland to walk around.
Yeah.
And but I can't. Now, if they could only get us the smells of the confectionery down here too.
Yeah. No, I think living next to the parks or as close as we do, again, you do have the fireworks, every night when they're doing them, when they start them back up, because they'll start them back up. But I mean, the other great benefit is just being able to get in your car and within 10 minutes we're on property. We're by the Grand Floridian and we're going towards World Drive. So it's kind of funny. We're like physically maybe a mile from the Magic Kingdom, but it takes us maybe 10 minutes to drive there because we have to go around lakes and ponds and go around different parts of the roadways to get there. But and that's just kind of the way Florida is there are so many bodies of water. Sometimes you have to do like what they call a Big Dipper to get to where you want to go.
Ever tried to go from here to Dr. Phillips?
Yes. In fact, I go there quite often because that's the nearest Costco.
I'm telling you, that is like, there's a Costco and Dr. Phillips?
Yeah, it's actually just past it, but you have to go through Dr. Phillips to get there.
Yeah, I know which one you're driving to. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I'm like I just want to go to Trader Joe's. It's 25 minutes because you have to go all the way around. But I still find this just as accessible as when I lived in Celebration for my area, because I do Davenport, and I do north of here. And Windermere, of course, is just a 2 turns away.
Right. Yep. And Windermere's a great community as well. when we decided we were going to move down here, we thought maybe Windermere might be the place. And we looked at a few places in Windermere. I think we looked in a community called Legato, which I think is Mattamy Homes,
Yeah,
which
very
I
nice.
really like. I like that community. The thing was, when we were looking back in July, last July, there wasn't a lot of inventory out there. It was very dried up. We were looking for a home that was already like maybe 60 or 70% complete, so that we could move in relatively quickly.
Yes.
And there just wasn't much that was out there to our liking. Fortunately, we did run across this home, and again, when I saw that there was a retention pond across the street and we had a clear view of the fireworks, I was like, okay, this just went up in the possibility category. So.
Well, I know we first we did look at some townhouses, and the difference in price was, I would say, 4 or 5% more.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we were talking about, we won't go into what price you paid, but and since then, the prices have gone significantly higher. I think they're significant. It's a significant change.
Yeah, there. It was funny. We were kind of walking around the community not too long ago, and there are some homes that have the same floor plan as ours that are available. They're built already. Again, they're inventory homes. There may have been a few extra upgrades, but it was probably 10% to 15% higher, which really surprised me. I didn't think there would be that much of an increase in home prices, but that's what we're seeing right now. Even in this current situation with the pandemic, it's the home prices are now, the inventory is up. There are more homes available, but the prices, I don't see them coming down yet.
Well, that one builder we talked about has sold 26 homes in 2 weeks. I think the reason it's affected me is most of my people come from out of state. People who are buying in state are like, okay, we got nothing else to do. The realtor is open. Let's go there.
Yeah.
But that's why I've been blessed anyway. So I'm very lucky last couple of weeks.
So folks that are considering moving down here close to Walt Disney World, yeah, you have your advantages and you have your disadvantages. And so what do I mean by that? Well, you're literally minutes from Walt Disney World, and the entertainment options are abundant. So you get in your car after work, you say, geez, I had a horrible day today. You know what? Let's go get a drink over at Coronado Springs at the Three Bridges Bar and Grill, and you just hop in your car.
You know how, I mean, that is so close to us.
It is.
For people who know where the Coronado Springs is, it's at the corner of Western Way. And if you take Western Way straight down, I think it's like 3 miles, you hit the new shopping plaza, which is going to be, they say it's going to be like Disney Springs Light, you know, but, you know, it's going to be, you have stores like Target and probably in other Publix, but, you know, stores that are, you know, more affordable.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and that's going to be right around the corner from us.
Yeah. So they're building the area you're talking about, Flamingo Crossing. They're building a very, very large college program campus there. And when I say campus, it's really more of dorms. And they're going to house 10,000 college program students there. So right next to that, they're building this complex that Victor's talking about, where you have a Target, you have hotels, you have restaurants. It's going to be huge, and it's really specifically designed for the college program cast members that are going to be in those dorms, but also the surrounding community, like where we're at. So yeah, what I've heard, it's going to be Disney Springs East is what I've been told, except with more.
Well, the designs are beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You know, they're just beautiful designs. So, I mean, it's going to be a nice. It just. I mean, it's going to be like. There's going to be a Target in there, which is nice. That's you know.
Yep. But
what's funny? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, just going back to the pros of living near Disney. You just, like I say, you have that ability just to hop in your car and be on property and go do something. You know, whenever you have the urge, and weekends, after work. And again, you can spend the night in a park till 9 o'clock, jump in your car, and come back home. So I mean, it's really a great advantage to do that, and just all those entertainment options.
Oh, I know. But I'll tell you, it feels like ages ago right now. I mean, it's like, how many months has it been? Like, it feels like it's been years since I've been able to go to the park. And I mean, I'd go to Columbia House.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go grab something to eat right after going to like the Haunted Mansion, go to Peter Pan, hit another ride. I'm out of there in 2 hours,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And, that's, when you're local, we don't have we don't go for the entire day.
Yeah.
And so I always think when people are saying, well, it's okay if I'm an hour away. Yeah, but if you're an hour away, you're gonna go as many times as you go when you're on vacation.
Right.
Because you're not gonna go and take an hour drive to spend 2 hours there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something. Now, if that's something, I think a half hour is a good drive, because you could always stop and get your groceries on the way home and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Patty is asking, if there's any cons of living here?
Yes. So I would say, I know, not too many. The cons, I will tell you, the pros outweigh the cons. I'm just going to say that right now. The traffic in the area is sort of a con. I wouldn't say it's horrible, but it is.
Certain areas where it is dreadful.
Yes. The way the roadways are here, you have toll roads. In most cities that I've been in, big cities, they have what you call an outer belt, right? That basically gets you around downtown. Here in Orlando, the outer belt is really a toll road. So if you're wanting to bypass traffic, it's kind of a luxury thing, because you have to pay for that. You have to go on the toll road and you pay your tolls, and it gets you around traffic. The city streets are just jammed up because people don't typically want to pay a toll. So you have that, and then the only highway that's not a toll road is I-4, and again, people don't want to pay a toll, so they jump on I-4, and it's busy. It's busy. Certain times of the day, it's a parking lot.
Yeah. I'm lucky I don't have to be on there a lot. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to have to go. I'll go when people aren't going to work. Yeah. When I lived for 7 months before I got this house in Davenport, there was this one section that I was in the car with my mother for 20 minutes sitting. Yeah. And there was no accident, thank goodness. There was nothing, but it's just one section right near Champions Gate where where it was just ridiculous. I mean, it was really, really ridiculous. Yep.
So traffic. The other thing I would tell you is, Disney World, Universal Studios, the theme parks in general, they're expensive. So you can't make it a habit to go there every night and say, you know what, we're going to go to the parks
and eat.
4 times a week and eat. Yeah. Or go there and just, snack your way through an evening or whatever, because it does get expensive. It's okay to do it once in a while, but
it does get expensive to go there.
Yeah, it can be,
I have since learned that I don't eat there very often. Mm-hmm. But I kind of sort of weigh it like the last couple times before the Columbia House started charging for refills on your drink. So I was like, oh boy, give me a break.
Yeah. Jeff has a question there about, I think, inventory homes.
Yes, I'm going to ask it. Yeah. But okay. So I just had another point after that.
Sorry, anyway. I didn't mean to throw you off.
That's okay. But Jeff is asking, is it easier to buy off plan, or do you recommending buying inventory? Aaron bought inventory. Now, it depends on really, if Aaron had ordered that house individually and asked for the individual things, it certainly would have cost more at the time. And it also would have taken another 4 months to have it done, at least. Because he was like they were like 4 months into it.
Right.
When you buy to build, it could take, they always say, the application for the building takes 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For the plot plan. And I'm like, oh, great, 3 weeks, then we start building. No, it takes 2 months to get that plot plan ready. So I waited 3 months before they broke ground on my house, but then they moved very, very swiftly after that.
Mm-hmm.
But if this was a built house, I could have gone in and said, I'd like a little more cash back. I'd like to deal more. I'd like to, but there wasn't anything like that available.
Right.
But right now, what's happening is there are a lot of people, unfortunately, who are Disney employees who are on furlough.
Yeah.
If you're on furlough, even if you know you're going to get your job back, you can't get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when I was with, that is one of the houses that I just, with one of the people that's on this call, that's what happened with that house. And there's been quite a few of those. So you just gotta, I always say, you've got to find where you want to live and then start asking,
Right.
But people, if you were to resell your house right now, you'd probably get all your money out of it. But the competition with the new construction, people would choose new construction. I would say to you, if you were saying, oh, I'm going to move, don't do it until the new construction is all finished. Because then people will come in and say, oh, I want to live here. Just like in this community. The price down the street of the house, I almost fell off my chair. I was like, yay, good.
Yeah. So I live in a community called Watermark. The builder here is Meritage Homes, and again, they're an energy efficient builder. But I mean, they've built a really good home here. I haven't had very many problems. Anything I had a problem with was really minor. But they've the home that they build is really good. Again, energy efficient. They put a lot of technology into their home. And the communities are pretty nice. The HOA fees are very reasonable. Our HOA fee here is $108 a month, and we have a great community center. Not only do we have a main community center, but we have a few satellite community centers where they have smaller facilities, smaller pool, but it's closer maybe or easier access.
You've got some of the best. You and Waterloo have some of the best community centers that there are, especially if you have kids. Because I kind of think if you don't have kids and if there's only one person living in your house, well, you better use the hell out of that community center, because otherwise you're not getting your money's worth. But when you've got multiple people, like my customer that just bought in Waterloo, they've got multiple people in their house and some kids. So they've got fantastic things going on there. So,
but no, this community, Watermark, is it's a really good community. They've got a lot of paths to walk around. Again, the main community center does have a deck where you can actually go and view the fireworks.
I did that when they first opened, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, and I mean, literally, when you're up there, you could actually see the Contemporary Tower. You can see the fireworks. It's a really good feature. I mean, fortunately for us, we don't need to do that because we have it just out the front of our house. Again, it's just it's a really nice community. They're building a high school just not too far behind me here, and I think there's a couple other schools that they're getting ready to build. So. This area right now is sort of a skeleton. There's not a lot of retail, but you can see it starting to form. You're starting to see stories about shopping centers, high schools, middle schools. You're starting to see things kind of build up. We're in an area called Horizon West. It's part of Winter Garden. It's South Winter Garden, but it's right next to West Side, right next to Walt Disney World. And there's a lot of communities in Horizon West, but again, it's a great place to live. I think the cost of housing in Horizon West is a little bit higher than you might find in some other cities around Orlando, like Davenport or Claremont. But
Definitely.
yeah, but the luxury of living just right next to Walt Disney World, you do pay a premium for that.
Well, it's a little less than Windermere, and Windermere's a
That's
little
true.
less than Dr. Phillips,
Hmm.
and Claremont is a little less than Winter Garden, but Claremont is really, in its own little area with only 2 roads to get to Disney, and
Right.
right now it's very difficult. But
Hmm.
this new road is coming in that's going to, and I keep talking about this new road.
Yeah.
When that thing gets opened up, I really don't know what they're going to call it. They haven't announced any name that I know of. But it's going to connect the Sawgrass and Surrenoa sections to Western Way.
Right.
So, and right now, those houses are in the 300s, low 300s.
Hmm.
The
Yep.
high 200s. I saw some from the 250s, 3-bedroom homes.
Hmm.
Very, very nice. Good builder, gated community. Speaking of communities, I thought you floored me a couple of months ago when you told me that your HOA fees
Hmm.
went down.
Yes. Yep,
That
that
is
is true. So, yeah, so Watermark is a pretty big community. It does go over a main road from one side to the other. So what happened from what our understanding is what happened was when we moved in, it was 145 a month.
yeah,
But as they were adding homes and adding homes, they cost averaged down the HOA fees because of more families moving into the community.
yep.
I don't know if we're going to see that again because most of the home
Oh,
sites are sold here, but
yeah.
I could live with $108 a month. I think that's very reasonable.
Well, for what you get,
Mhm.
I think it's a very fair price because you have a community
Yeah.
center with a gym, you have
Hmm.
a huge pool,
Yeah.
you have like an activity center there. I
Hmm.
know I
Yep.
guess you can rent that out, um, and then you've got. I think they do have some tennis courts, I believe, somewhere.
Yeah. The tennis courts they have, and like I
Oh yeah,
mentioned, they
yeah,
have.
yeah, right behind it. Yes, I
Yeah,
remember now.
and they have like I said, the satellite pools. So they maintain those as well.
Yeah.
Great paths. It's just like I say. I think this is a very good community. Um, it's got a lot going for it, but like I say, most of the home sites are sold. There are a few sites left, and then there are some inventory homes that are available as well. So
Well,
um, it,
I expected someone else to be on this call, so I want to
Mhm.
just show some type of properties that are available right now,
Mhm.
um, because there's some really cool stuff out there now.
Mhm.
So I'm going to first show this property. Add that on there. Okay, great. So it's difficult when there's 2 screens. Okay, wait. Okay, here we go. I don't know how to do this. Okay. Wait.
Looks good so far.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'll do it just from this screen. Okay. So if anybody listening whenever I used to sell in Celebration, they always called the area over the garage the in-law suite. And I'm like, what in-law is going to climb up those frickin' stairs? You know? So because it's a whole flight of stairs, like 20 steps to get up there.
Mhm.
You know, if you're in your 80s, you ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So, but what this builder came up with is it's called Freedom Houses, and this is the bottom floor of a 2-story house. So it has a private entrance over here. Down at the bottom. I know you can't see my little markers, but it is a private entrance in the blue section. That's all a little private residence with its own private half kitchen. So, and these things are selling they have some units that start in the 270s. These are a little higher than that. I lost Aaron there for a second. I'm sure he'll come back. But these are really good opportunities if you need to share expenses. So these are called the independence houses. Yes. So anyway, if anybody has any questions about that, I'd be really interested to tell you about it. Anyway, I hope Aaron comes back. Now, the area that I was telling you about just a little while ago that is connecting to Disney World through this new road. If you look at these homes here, you've got prices of $321, $329. This one's a little higher. This one's that's in Winter Garden. Okay, that was caught extra. Okay, but you definitely have. Oh, Aaron's back.
Technology. What are you?
There you are. I know. It's kind of, but let me get to that. See if I can get to that page now. They tell me I'm supposed to do this with 2 monitors, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I can barely work 1 monitor. So, okay, here we go. There we are. Oh, bring it over. Okay. Okay, so this is the area that I was. Oh, where'd it go? Okay.
It's behind the behind our feeds.
Oh no! Application window. There it is. Is that it? Yes, that's it. Okay, so this is what I was talking about here. You've got properties if this property was in Winter Garden, the one that's $329, that would be significantly higher than $329 for Winter Garden, a 5-bedroom home. 5-bedroom homes do not start at $329. Here's one, $265 for a 4-bedroom home, and it's no more minutes from Disney than we are from Disney. Once that road gets in. Now it's 25 minutes from Disney.
Yeah.
Taxes are a little bit better, but here you have $276, 3-bedroom. $245. Okay, this is an over 55 community here. This one that's let's see if I can click on it. Now I just sold on this street. We close next but this is they always do this to me.
Oh, they want your
they on my own site.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so we won't do that. Okay, so I have to remember that for the future. But this is a there we go. That's a community that's just minutes from Disney. It's an over 55 community and a single family home priced at $245. Now I sold something similar to that in a Kissimmee location, also very close to Disney. It was $300. So they did get to pick their own finishes and all that, and let me tell you, they made a beautiful home. It was gorgeous. But
so you mentioned taxes. So at least I know in Orange County, where we live, the county we live in, I've been told that whatever you purchase your house for, figure 1.5% is what you would pay yearly for your property taxes, and that's an approximation. But that's kind of the number that people have told me. They said just figure 1.5%, and that'll give you an idea of what your property taxes will be. So
yeah, and it's actually, if you'll be very safe with that number, because they use about, when your appraised value is about 80% of your purchased value. Plus, we have homesteading here. So did you homestead it, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I think probably on your next bill, you're going to get a reduction. So you'll probably get something back from your insurance. Your insurance company will give you something back at the end. Not probably at the end of the year, once they've paid off the first, and they realize it's lower than they had anticipated.
Mhm.
So where would you look if you wanted 300K or under for good schools? Well, first of all, never listen to a realtor who tells you if the schools are good or not. Okay. Because if they make a mistake, they could really get into some hot water.
Mhm.
There's a great website called greatschools.org. And I suggest looking them up there. I usually tell people what I've heard from customers, and in general, I know you won't have any problem with Windermere and Winter Garden.
Mhm.
Look it up. You'll probably be happy with what you see. And I would Claremont, I would say, is
Yeah.
rated better than Davenport.
That's where I was going to go to. I was going to suggest
Davenport
Claremont.
probably, but I always say it's, if you look at the individual school, you might find that, the school district's not so good, but they have a principal that's really active, and they have extra features that you didn't expect somewhere else. So it may be the right school for your individual kid.
Mhm.
So I don't like to quote schools. I will, because also you don't know if the school that you were told is the school for that area, by the time they buy and close, is that if it's the same school, because something might change.
Right.
But I would be happy with, my one customer said that his younger child is happy with the elementary school in Claremont. The older child is not so happy with the middle school. But that may be specific to them
Mhm.
and their individual needs. I would, so I've heard very, very good things about Winter Garden schools. But all the schools are going to be new.
Right.
We're going to have
Yep.
a new high school, a new elementary school, new middle school. They're all new here.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, makes a big difference when they're new. But everybody has their own situation. You may find that you may not need to worry about schools. You may find that
Yay!
schools are, schools may be an important thing to you. Location to the theme parks might be important. You may want to be further away from the theme parks. It just really depends. Everybody's got their own preference and taste. The one thing I will tell you, another pro of living here where we're at, I mean, we are directly center peninsula here in Winter Garden. We have great locations and cities northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest in Florida that are probably a 2-hour drive away. And then you've got both coasts that you have an hour away. So the Atlantic coast and the Gulf are literally 1 hour on each side. So where we're at, we just have just a ton of options of things to do. If you wanted to take a day trip, let's say to Naples, Florida, you get in your car and in 2.5 hours you're there, and you could spend the day there. So
and Tampa is just an hour away.
right,
The casino is just an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you hit traffic, but it's of course everything's closed right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But
again, just going back to the parks, you've got Universal Studios where we live. It's probably maybe a 25-minute drive. So you've got that there, and then again, Disney World, and then SeaWorld's probably maybe 15, 20 minutes away. So I think Winter Garden has a lot going for it. Location is definitely one of them. The area we're in, called Horizon West, is just starting to flourish with retail and options of things to do.
Did you see what they're putting in Watermark, in the Mark? It's called.
No.
You haven't seen yet? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, I was disappointed. There is going to be a coffee shop, which is either Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. I hope it's Dunkin' Donuts so I can afford it.
Yeah.
There's no fast food restaurants, but I'm not a fast food person anymore. I really don't like that.
Yeah.
And there's a pizza restaurant, Johnny Rockets is coming in, which I thought was very interesting because I didn't know they were still making Johnny Rockets.
Yeah.
Anyway, and there's going to be they scrapped the plans for a grocery store, which was
Yes.
a
Yeah.
little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the reasons that I bought here. But we have one of the biggest public grocery stores 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah,
So
so I was just going to mention that. So not maybe 5-10 minutes away from here is a place called Hamlin Town Center.
yes,
It has a movie theater, but it is really the next place that is starting to grow with retail.
oh,
Like you said,
they're gonna have
they-
a
yeah,
Capone's pizza
yeah,
and a Ford's Garage, which are two of
hmm
my favorite middle
yeah.
priced restaurants.
Yes, the Ford's Garage is, I'd say 50% complete.
Yeah,
So I drive by it periodically, and it's going. I'm actually surprised that at the speed that some of the projects are still moving, considering the situation we're in right now. But they're
well, I
still
think people
building.
are. I honestly, I think people are very hopeful.
Yes.
I don't think
Yep.
people have lost hope, and that's a really good thing. I think they
Mhm.
they understand what they have to do, and we have to take precautions, and
Yeah.
and I think I've been buying a lot of takeout, um, picking it up, try more than I usually do, more than going out to dinner, more than I usually do. So,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
So
important at this time. Yeah.
for those people who are considering moving here, again, everybody has their own situation. If you have a timeline or a plan where you think, we're going to move to Orlando in, 5 years or 10 years from now, I think really look at the situation you're in. It may be a good time to move now, and I certainly wouldn't tell anybody to move now because, again, everybody has their own situation. But I think coming down here, we have no regrets of coming down here at all. We are very happy. We're very happy being close to the parks. We love the parks because of the entertainment value, and there's just so much to do. It appeals to us in a number of ways. I come from a theater background, and I just like the entertainment aspects of Walt Disney World. Again, there's a lot of entertainment action and just different performers and things to go see. So and again, it's ever changing. There's so many projects going on right now within the parks and the resorts that it's always changing.
I'm the most excited about Ratatouille.
Yeah,
I
that's
cannot. I have
yeah.
I've seen it on the Imagineers on Disney Plus,
Mhm.
and I just think it's just too amazing.
Yes, yeah,
It just looks like it's great.
yep. I
Um,
mean,
Patty is asking where you moved from.
oh, yeah. So moved from the Indianapolis, Indiana area. Um, and that's a really good question, and I'll tell you why. Because wherever you move from, coming here, you're either going to find things are a little bit more expensive, or things are a lot cheaper. So I can tell you that I have some friends that lived in the New York area
It's
who
so
who
true.
moved yeah who moved down here and said, "Oh my God, this is great! I got a home for." I paid cash for it. I just, I sold my house and I could buy a home for cash. And they were like,
Yeah,
it's a cheap living. Well, for somebody coming from the Midwest, no, it's a little bit higher. So, you've got that dynamic of people coming from different parts of the country going, "Oh, this is great," or it was okay. So it really depends, and it also goes to cost of living. The cost of living where I came from was relatively inexpensive.
hmm
Um, Coming from New York, you're like, what do you mean it's $3 for a gallon of milk? What are you talking about? That's so cheap.
I know it is. It is. It is funny when people go, "Oh my gosh, it's so expensive here," and I'm like, "Are you
Mhm.
are you kidding me?"
Uh-huh.
Are, but then you realize where they're from, and they have great, easy cost of living there.
Yeah.
But then I have people from New York,
Yeah.
and I remember driving. We were driving in a golf cart, and they said, "Now, how much do you think the taxes will be?" And she goes, "Well, I have to. I can only estimate the taxes, but your neighbors are at 4,000. And he
Yeah.
goes, per what? And she
Yeah.
was like, so, um,
So somebody's
because
asking
she's like
about.
going, a year. He's like, a year. And it's like when I see what people are paying in taxes in
Oh
New
yeah.
York, I mean, it's definitely half.
Mm.
There's no
Yep.
state taxes here. There's no estate taxes. I don't like to give tax advice. Always check with your attorney. Anyway, but that, I mean, my cost of living here, I remember when I used to have to pay $500 a month for a small Cracker Jack box house in Rhode Island for oil heat. And it was always freezing in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I could never keep it hot enough, and it was so damn cold. There's and so moving to a new construction house, I never forget getting my first electric bill, and it was only $100.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, $100. I sold that house instantly when I got down here. I could not believe it.
Yeah. Somebody was asking about Legato, and Legato is a community, maybe, what is it? What would you say? Northwest of here?
Yeah.
And it is
Northeast.
Northeast. Okay. It is that is a really nice community, and it is literally probably the closest community to Disney World. I mean, literally, you pull out of Legato, you make a right, you go 100 yards, and you make another right, and you're on Disney property.
I know. If they had a sidewalk, you could walk to Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, the Magic Kingdom is
sidewalk,
right
and I think
there.
there's no sidewalk for a reason.
Yeah,
you could walk right in. You could walk in, get on the employees tram and be in the middle of Disney, or you walk, or you drive in, and it takes you in Floridian Way, takes you right into Grand Floridian. And now the Grand Floridian is going to have a bridge that will take you from the Grand Floridian. So you could walk from the Grand Floridian into Disney World. Because right now you'd have to wait for the boat, which, things. But.
Yeah. But no, living here has been great. And again, if you're thinking about doing it, it's good to have a real estate agent who knows what they're doing, because there are going to be things along your journey that when you're moving here that you're going to run into. You're going to run into situations that you never thought possible, and it's it could be the builder. There's so many people.
There are things.
There are so many people involved in the process that it can get kind of crazy, and it's good to have an agent who knows.
Do you know
what to do? Yeah. Well, and I think the big thing with you was you were kind of telling us in advance of what to expect, and I think that's a big thing, because you do run into situations that you don't want to run into unexpected situations. Let's put it that way. It's always good to know before it happens, and it's good because you can plan for it. And I think you brought that to us, and that was a big help. But there were some things that you just you couldn't help, because it was like, what? I've never seen this before. But it is
a little different here. I mean, people are always like they're always saying to me, do I need a lawyer to do the transfer of ownership? And you don't technically need one, but if you feel more secure with one, and you may have some ownership questions, you could get a lawyer to look over things. I've only had it happen a couple times, and usually it's with people who are lawyers already, so they feel comfortable with having someone explain the documents to them, which is good, because I cannot legally explain documents to someone. I can only say, what do you think it means? I've sort of become a psychiatrist, where I go, so what do you think? What does that mean to you? Yeah. What do you think it means you have 10 days for the inspection?
Anyway. It's funny too, because we were talking a lot about closing costs, and closing costs down here are different in a sense that they include, it seems to me like they include more things in the in the actual closing itself. I know for us, we had to pay for 1 year of homeowners insurance in our closing, and I didn't even know that when we were closing. I just, you go to closing, you sign
Well,
all
you
these
had to pay
documents.
title insurance.
Yes, you pay that, but what was weird is I was never when we moved in, I wasn't getting a bill for home insurance, and I was like, how come I'm not getting my?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
I started looking into it, and I found out that, oh, well, you paid a year in advance, and I was like, wow, okay, so I don't have to pay any homeowners insurance, and they're like, no,
Well, no, not well. It's
for a year.
it's in with no. It's in with your mortgage.
Yeah, okay.
Now you can do a buyout,
Hmm.
where you say for like 300, customer did that because they wanted to pay it themselves. They wanted to have control over it.
Hmm.
I love that I don't have to deal with anything regarding, you know, um, insurance and paying that
Hmm.
bill. I hate paying bills.
Yeah,
I'd rather have it all paid one, so it gets wrapped up into your mortgage payment.
yeah.
But
For
they
us, it
also,
didn't. It
yeah.
didn't though. Yeah, for us, it was a little different. Again, situation is a little different where we, we're fortunate we don't have a mortgage. So what they did for us is they said you pay it in advance 1 year, and we didn't. We haven't paid any homeowners insurance until September because that's when we closed last year. So we have
Oh,
1 year
okay.
that we paid in
Forgot about
advance.
that you paid cash
Yeah, it was kind
or
of an
money
interesting.
bags.
No, it was a weird. I could tell you a story that would just blow your mind, but
Oh, you
um,
sold your house
yeah,
right before, and there was, oh, please, everybody on this call, who's a customer of mine, is having issues with selling their house right before they buy.
yeah,
So,
yeah. We bought this house, and then I'd say a month later, we sold our house in Indiana. Um, we took the proceeds of the home in Indiana and we applied it here. The the funny thing is as soon as we paid it off, the mortgage company sold our loan to another company. Well, the company
yeah.
that they never informed the company that bought the loan that we paid it off, and so I was fighting that for like
Oh my
literally
God, you just gave me a
weeks.
heart attack.
Weeks I was fighting that. And I
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
I gave them everything. I said, here's the payoff note. I said, here's this, here's that, and they still were giving me a hard time about it, but it was crazy.
Oh my God.
Things
Yeah.
that you would never expect to happen
No, you wouldn't
sometimes
expect.
happen.
Yes. So when you closed, at the closing, you had paid a year in advance for your insurance, so it
Yeah,
was already
homeowners.
paid.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So
Okay.
it was weird. Again, I didn't even know we were doing that, and
A few people look at their closing documents. I'm telling
right.
you, they really don't. And I don't think I was. Did you do a mail away closing?
No, we were here on site.
Oh, I don't
Yep.
remember that.
Yeah, I was here, and we went to Meritage, and I'm not sure if it was Meritage or if it was the Loan Depot who did the loan, but
Okay.
um, yeah, and my wife was still in Indiana, so we had to do a power of attorney.
Oh yeah, was I with you then?
Yes, doing the power of attorney
Oh
is
yeah,
funny
yeah,
because
yeah. I remember that now. Okay.
you
Yeah.
sign your name and then you have to sign your wife's name with some like long sentence after each time you sign it.
Oh, I know. Power of attorney is like,
Yeah.
and imagine I had one was power of attorney for two different people, and it was in
Hmm.
Spanish, and we were there for like 2 hours signing
Yeah.
documents. And luckily, I just
Yeah.
sat there going like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have to sign nothing.
Yeah, but this is a great place to live. The weather has been, especially it seems like the last 2 or 3 weeks has been fantastic. It's going to get hot. We're right around that time where we start going into what's called wet season, where it's going to rain between 2 and 4 about every day, like clockwork.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, it is.
Except
It
when
is
I'm
kind of
showing houses.
nice. But when you get past September and you get into October through May, April, May, the weather here is just terrific. It's you get a lot of sunshine. The temperatures are 80 degrees, and when we bought this house, our thinking was we wouldn't be in the house that much. And when we did move here, we weren't in our house very much. We were always out at Disney or Universal or
Mhm.
Winter Garden or wherever we were going. Of course, now with the lockdown, we have been in the house way more than we had ever hoped. But it's a thing where I think when you live in Florida, you know just know that you probably won't be as home as much as you think you will be. I know coming from the Midwest, we were in the house a lot, just
Yeah.
because of the winters and the weather. But here, it's just wide open. It's the weather's usually great, and you just look at it. You look at each other and say, let's go do something,
Yeah.
and you just get up and
I
you
know
go.
that's what's been so weird about this, where we're stuck in the house, and
Hmm.
I mean, now it's opening up, but
Yeah.
gosh, it. I'll tell you, there is certain just wonder in having a really nice house during this
Mm.
time. I
Yeah.
have just been like, I haven't really felt that much anxiety or anything. It's just been very, very nice. We've got 3 questions that I want to answer.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see. There was one from Deborah who said, "Do you think the pandemic is going to affect the real estate market?" So far, what's been happening is kind of strange. Um, I see houses selling within the same amount of time. In some cases, I see them selling faster, but I also see that when stuff doesn't sell and it falls through because unfortunately people have been furloughed or lost their jobs, God forbid, probably the best thing to do is lose your job before you sign the contract than after. But there's a lot of inventory that comes available that you wouldn't expect. And that's what happened with one of my customers, I think a week and a half ago. They came out here, they wanted something very specific, and they liked these certain colors that were available. And sure enough, it came available and we got it because we were
Hmm.
asking, and didn't jump right away. We waited a little bit, just like one day. And
Yeah.
boom, they got the color they want, the model they want, the area they want in the community. And
Oh, yeah.
so it
Perfect.
now someone had lost that house, but they also had a lot more incentives to buy it from the builder because they needed their end of the month, end of the quarter to look real good. And that's sometimes when you get a little bit extra better deal is towards the end of the quarter.
Hmm.
Let me see what else we had here.
Yeah. Somebody asked what was the biggest change
Yes, that was it.
moving here.
That was it.
Yeah, so basically the biggest change for us was refamiliarizing ourselves with a new community and just trying to figure out where everything is. I think for the first when we moved into this house, I would say for 4 months we constantly were relying on our GPS to find things. Just knowing where to go, how to get there. That is a huge challenge. And
Well, me, I know everything.
yeah, yeah. No, it really was. I mean,
I don't use the it's funny. I stopped using GPS. I'm like, I used to use GPS to get home. It's
yeah,
funny, but you're right. You're right. When you're first here, it's like you don't know where anything is. You don't know how
no,
to find anything. Now, but yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, I mean, there've been maybe some challenges with trying to figure out like how do you get your car titled, get your license,
I know,
pay your
isn't that a little
taxes.
weird?
Yeah, it is
Because
different.
you have to go to the tax office to do
Yeah,
your title on your car.
yeah.
I'm like,
It's just different, and
it is different,
but that
but it's
it's a
better.
yes.
When I every other state I've been into with the DMV, a huge freaking line, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they get put into
Mm.
another line. Here,
Yeah,
it's very, very easy. You get an appointment, you show up, boom, I'm done.
yeah. I would
I
agree.
remember sitting there figuring out what my vanity plate was going to be.
Yeah, but yeah, the car thing was getting your car titled and all that, and then just getting settled in, getting all your utilities, and then also making sure all of you have your change of address for everything. You don't really realize how many things are attached to your address until you move, and you're like, holy cow, I
Well,
gotta call this person, I gotta call that
when I
person.
did change of address from the post office, did you do it through the post office? Change of
Well,
address?
no,
Oh my gosh,
I
that's it. I've done that because I had to move like 4 times actually in
mm,
Florida. And if you go to the United States Post Office website and do a change of address, it is freaking awesome because they tell everybody that you've moved.
Ah, okay.
So they did a lot of that for me and
Hmm.
changed things, and then I was able to sign up for informed delivery too, which is
Yeah.
certainly wonderful.
Yeah.
I got one more question before we close up.
Uh-huh.
Do you know when the road in Claremont and Serenoa area is going to be done that takes you to Disney, and how long would it take you to go from Disney World from the new road? I'm going to say that the road itself is not going to be more than 10 minutes to bring you to somewhere on Western Way, and that's exaggerating it. But the contract the builder has says that it has to be done in April of next year. Otherwise, they pay a penalty. Now, I was there just last week, and there were people riding their bicycles on the road. So it was really in the finishing stages. But now they've got the section on the other side that they need to do that takes you through like orange groves and through a couple of really nice communities too. That whole road has several communities that are going to be built on it. So and then it brings you right up to the Flamingo Crossing, so a big shopping area.
Yeah.
So on your way back from Disney, you can go do your shopping.
Right.
So.
Yeah. One other thing that people and we still haven't taken it for granted yet, but the people coming from the Midwest and the Northeast would appreciate this. There are no potholes here. I mean, you drive up in the Midwest, you drive up in the Northeast, and you're hitting potholes everywhere, uneven road because of the snow and the salt in the winter. Down here, it is like
That's
riding
very
on.
true.
It is riding
The
on
roads
glass.
the roads are really, yeah. You
Yeah.
rarely run into a pothole road. I remember there was one road called Hartzog, which I used to take to Disney World when I lived in Davenport, and that was like a dirt road. And now it's a major road to get to Disney. But anybody from New York, I know Joe just moved here from New York. In fact, I should have Joe on another call like this soon. But yeah, it's the roads here. I personally feel that the quality of life is a lot better here than other places that I've lived, because I didn't like having frozen eyeballs in Maine. In Rhode Island, I had my eyes would be frozen in May.
Yeah.
It was so darn cold.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we're I mean, we're still in the honeymoon period here. I mean, we're 9 months into moving, and you know, we love every minute of it. You know, just knowing that Walt Disney World is a stone's throw away has really been just very nice, and we take full advantage of it. It's just a great place to go weekends, evenings, and you know, if you're thinking about making the move, it's it's worth it for sure. Just a lot to do. A lot to do.
Just hope, you know, we're all just hoping that this, ends soon.
It's going to. I mean, it's you know, Universal announced today that they're opening to the public on June 5th, and you know, Disney World isn't going to be too far behind that. I'm sure it's going to look different when we start going back to the parks, but even that I think is going to end at some point, and we're going to get back to some sense of normalcy. Just you know, it's just going to take some time for a vaccine, and we'll get there. So.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, and I saw one celebrity was saying the other day, you know, it's don't wear the masks for you. Wear it for someone else.
Right.
Wear it for someone's grandmother who happens to be going to the grocery store shopping.
Yep.
And yes, we all take precautions. You know, we'll all be safer.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
But I don't plan on going to the parks too much different than I did. Yep. I used to go in for a couple hours and I'd leave. you know.
That's the great thing, right? I mean, where we live, we can do that. We can pop in and
Mhm.
pop out. If you live an hour away, that's hard to do. You kind of have to make that, a day of it. Here, where we're at, we just jump in the car, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we're in the park. And then we just, when we've had enough, we come home. That could be
Oh,
2 hours.
and I'll tell
Two
you,
hours.
those fast passes were a godsend. I mean,
we,
I plan like a couple of weeks ahead. I
yeah.
pick three that I want to do in a row.
Uh-huh.
Go in towards the end of the first fast pass, do a couple, and I'm out.
Yeah,
And
it's funny you say that because we do sit in our house, maybe at 5 o'clock, 5:30 at night, and or maybe even at lunchtime. We'll pull up the My Disney Experience app and we'll start looking for fast passes. And if we see a really good one, we'll be like, "Hey, we're going to Animal
oh
Kingdom
yeah, like
tonight."
Peter Pan.
Yeah,
That's like if you get a Peter Pan, you go.
yeah. Flight of
You know.
Passage. If you get a Flight of
Oh,
Passage, you're going to Animal Kingdom.
I have not been that lucky to get a
Oh,
Flight of
man.
Passage fast pass.
Yeah.
But it certainly would make me go to Animal Kingdom. I have to get my Animal Kingdom shirt on and my hat to match, but I would be
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah.
oh, well, anybody else have any other questions before we hang up? Well, I'm so pleased that we did this today, and
Yeah, no, it was great. I think it's important to share, the pros and cons of living here. And again, like I say, I firmly believe the pros outweigh the cons, and the cons are few and far between. And there's just too much upside to living here. And you'll find that you move here and you're going to be very, very happy that you did. Again, we're only 9 months into this. We're still in that honeymoon period, but I'm confident that 10 years from now, I'm going to feel really good about moving here and being here. So,
well, you know what I like about your house, though, is that we were able to get a good lot for
yeah.
you.
Uh-huh.
That lot fit your needs. A lot of other people, some people wouldn't, don't mind having a house right in front of them, but you had,
Mhm.
the retention pond, which is basically a empty
Yep.
pond area,
Mhm. Mhm.
that if there's a large rainstorm, it could fill up and drain out to the marshland.
Right.
But that was because we were looking in the right place. We found
Yeah.
the area, then we found the house.
Right. Yeah,
You know.
I agree. And just having the fireworks out there is great. You hear them at night. If you feel like going out to watch them, you can go out and watch them.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there's,
I cannot wait. It was so I had only 2 weeks with the
oh,
fireworks,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. But they're coming back. I know that for a fact. They're coming back, and we'll get back to normal. It's going to take some time. We just have to be patient.
Yeah. It's good. It's going
So
to happen. I think it's going to happen sooner than we think.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
trying to be positive, but
yeah. And like we said before, there are a lot of right now because there haven't been a lot of people out shopping for homes. There are a lot of inventory homes right now. So if you're looking and you want to just have a home that's move-in ready, there are plenty of them, especially here in Watermark. I walk around this neighborhood quite a bit, and there are a number of homes that are available.
yeah, there's a good amount
Hmm.
available, but there's still a lot of movement.
Hmm.
Still a
Yep.
lot of movement. I mean, I'm like seeing stuff. Customers want to go out to see stuff, and it's already sold. And I'm like
Yeah.
going, do they realize there's a pandemic on? But
Yeah.
because I thought, all my April and May people canceled.
Hmm.
All of them. They were all
Yeah.
coming in, and now they're still thinking about it, but they all
Hmm.
canceled. Everybody. I was
Yeah.
sitting here all April, just like, well, what am I going to
Yeah.
do? But
Yeah.
now I'm starting to see a real upturn. Um,
Hmm.
I just hope people start getting unfurloughed and their jobs back so that they could,
Yeah.
get back to normal.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm certain of it. I'm looking forward to it. Where we hear something from Walt Disney World, and again we heard from Universal today, so that was positive. And the way the theme parks work down here, one pushes the other. So now that we have one that's opening, the other ones are going to race to get open, or at least make the announcement. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, Tressa is said she came as soon as she could. So yeah. So that was fantastic.
Yep.
It's just been really, I'm surreal, but they're all coming. They're all scheduling their visits that postpone them. So, I
Yep.
think there's still going to be a decent amount of inventory.
Mhm.
There's still a lot of lots available around here. There's
Yep.
Hawksmoor, which is
Oh,
just north of here, which is
that's another good one, Victor. That Hawksmoor is that's another place we looked that I really liked. I love the feel of that community,
I
and
know. If I didn't want the fireworks really big in my backyard, I would have gone there.
yeah,
I kind of think, maybe I should, I always go back like, what was my reason for buying here instead of buying in Legato, where the fireworks would have been so freaking big.
hmm
But I kind of, I like, this one was the last lot that had direct firework views. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, that's it. But
yeah.
the Legato's fireworks are like, you don't look like
Oh,
this, you have to look like this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, literally just down the street, like maybe 150, 200 yards, is where they light the fireworks off.
I know. It's insane. It's
Yeah,
insane. It's right there. And it
yeah.
doesn't, and the noise doesn't, here, if you have your door closed, you will not hear the
It
sound of
You
it.
hear a pop here. You hear
Yeah.
the pop. If you're in Legato, you're hearing a boom. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alyssa and Neil were with me the day that they called me and said that my cabinets were in. So I'm like, let's go look at my house.
Yeah.
But actually, this house would have been perfect for them. This is just, the way it's designed and everything. But anyway,
Yeah.
but now I think in this community, there's only a few houses available. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, I thank everybody. Thank you, Aaron, for
Yep.
participating today. We were supposed to
Yep.
have another person come on and talk about what they're looking for. Hopefully, we'll do that another
Mhm.
time.
Yeah. No
But
problem. It's fun.
yeah, it was a lot
Yep.
of fun. I loved. I don't know if there wasn't social media. I don't know how I would do my job.
Yeah. Yep.
I would not be one of those realtors that calls people up and says, "Do you want to sell your house?" That's
You,
not me.
you'd have big
I like them to come to me when they see who I am
signs and
and get to know
billboards,
me.
right? You would have had big billboards and signs in people's yards, right?
Yeah, that even grosses me out.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just if you are thinking about moving down here, Victor's he's a very good agent, and
Thank you.
I would say that moving down here is terrific, fantastic. If you're thinking about, well, would it spoil the magic living so close to Disney World?
That's a
Nope,
good point.
not at all. Not at all. We love it just as much as when we lived in Indiana. So
Yeah. I do think though, if you lived in Golden Oak, it would be like eating cotton candy 24 hours a day.
yeah, probably.
But who says that's a bad thing?
Right. Yeah, Golden Oak is, you go by there and you can't see the homes, you see the entrance to the community, but $2 million homes on Disney property are, that would be quite incredible. And they've got dedicated transportation there. They're I think probably a number of them are members of Club 33, and just, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
wild, but yep.
Yes, I think that Golden Oak is the finest houses I have ever shown.
hmm
I just wish someone would buy one.
Yeah.
I haven't sold one yet.
Yeah,
But anyway, but
Yeah,
It's lottery money. It's lottery money.
yeah,
You
the
know.
clientele isn't too big out there, I wouldn't think, for those homes, but you know, I'm sure they're beautiful. I've seen pictures of them, haven't actually been in one, but they are beautiful. So yeah.
Well, Carrie is asking me, how fast do condos sell within 15 minutes of Disney? Actually, not very fast. There's a couple of, there's not actually many. In Winter Garden, there's, I think, 2 communities that have condos. In Windermere, there's 2 communities that I know have condos. Townhouses are actually a better suggestion, I would say. But I would say that townhouses, because they're sort of like, they have their autonomy from the whole unit. They're easier to get loans on, which is why some condos don't sell too fast. There's also some condos that will sit on the market for ages because it's very, very difficult to get loans on them. And those are the ones where they allow short-term rental, or because the price dropped so much in 2008 that there are a lot of non-occupant owners. So once you go through that thing we mentioned first when we started, which was the condo questionnaire, they find out at the very end of the loan that there's too many non-occupants there, and lenders will consider that a poor risk. So you may have to pay a really high interest rate. So I see a lot of condos sitting on the market. I have a listing for a condo that is absolutely beautiful. It started off at, when it was originally sold, it was like 500,000. Nobody's buying it at 250.
Mm.
But there's a community that I absolutely love in Windermere where you can get condos for 220, 230, 3 bedrooms, resort style, high HOA fees because you got all this stuff that comes with it, but it's well managed, which is something you have to, really know, and it's difficult to figure out if they are well managed. And they got the management right there, which I actually love, where you could go in and say, hey, how's things going? Why is this broken? Things like that, but condos around here, I would direct you, if possible, to a townhouse, because they're easier to get loans on and they're easier to resell. Single family homes are a lot easier to resell than a condo too, or a townhome.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, anybody else have any questions about anything before we sign off? We went a lot longer than I thought we would. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, no problem. One quick note, Victor, about
Sure.
working here. So the one thing you should know when you move here, and I'm thinking the people that are watching this may know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. This city is run by the theme parks. So a lot of the jobs that are in Orlando, 50% of them are probably related to the theme parks. A number of industries. You got, technology, human resources, but they all, 50% of them, maybe even more than that, revolve around the parks. The only other jobs or possibilities out there, you could work for one of the hospital networks, maybe the government, maybe you're a teacher, police officer, firefighter. Those types of jobs are out there, but there's not a huge abundance of major corporations in Orlando. You've got Disney, you've got Universal, you've got a few others that are pretty big. I think Lockheed Martin's a big one, but beyond that, there's a lot of small business. So when you're looking for jobs here, just know that most of what you're going to see either is directly or indirectly related to the theme parks. This is very much a tourism city. So as you could imagine, with the pandemic right now, it's tough. There's some pressure right now to get the parks reopened. I think the local government and even the state government is really, you kind of hear them talk like, when are you going to reopen? Come on, let's go. Because they want that tax and tourism dollars. They want to get people back to work. And just know that when you're looking for jobs here in Orlando, you're going to find that most of them are related to the parks.
A lot of my customers have are work at home. I've had a lot of customers who are just transferring their jobs down here, and they just said, I'm moving. I've had a lot of those, and they'll still keep the same job, which is terrific when you're getting a loan. So yeah, but I actually haven't sold to anyone that I remember that works directly at one person a couple of years ago. I think, right? I'm trying to think back, but yeah, but we're all interdependent on the it is very strange going on the roads here and not seeing and seeing that it's going to take you 20 minutes to get into Davenport. I'm like, wow. But we're gonna I honestly I know we're gonna get through all this stuff. So
yes, definitely. Yep. So
Carrie is asking me when can we contact you if we move down. Go to my Facebook page at Nawrocki Realtor. I get those messages immediately. And you can email me at celebratingflorida@gmail.com or my website, celebratingflorida.com. Let me see. There was a question that Carrie asked too. Thank you. Are townhomes more on the short-term rentals like condos? Short-term rental is only allowed in certain areas. There's no short-term rental in Windermere. There's only one building that's short-term rental that I know of in Winter Garden, which is kind of weird. But there's only one. It's a beautiful building. It's a whole resort-style complex. But short-term rental is allowed in Davenport, a little in Claremont, and Kissimmee. It started in Davenport. Before that, there wasn't any short-term rental available. But we have with the condos, the buildings that allow it, and they get affected by the economy so much. When the economy drops right now, those places are going to be empty because all the guests aren't going. So imagine what that's going to do to the owners. I think there's, a lot of them will say even after this starts again, hey, we're through, this is too much. And we'll start selling those. So you should have seen when I started selling here in 2010, those things were like, it was unbelievable the condition they were in. And so it's still affecting the market 10 years later for condos. It's why I still just don't like most of them, except for that one in Windermere, which I love. Anyway, but okay. So, hey, R. Johns is on. Hey, R. Johns, how are you? Okay, well, we're just closing up here. So I want to thank you again, Aaron. Thank you for buying a house for me 9 months ago. So,
no problem.
I'll tell you, when we were looking around, it just sort of hit me. I was like looking at your house and I was going, maybe I should move here. Anyway, but
thank you for supporting our charity. We greatly appreciated that.
Speaking of which, why don't we talk about that for a couple minutes?
I welcome that.
What?
Sure.
And I would love to have you on with my other customer, Dan, who works with Give Kids the World.
Sure.
He volunteers there a lot. He bought in Bella Lago, which is and he's got a lake access home. And his boat's right in front of in the backyard of the house. It's so cool. It's so cool. But you were so just tell me
Yeah,
in a bit about what Give Kids the World is.
sure. So Give Kids the World is so when a lot of people are familiar with Make-A-Wish, which is the largest wish granting organization in the country, but there are a lot of other ones too. But whenever a child wishes to go to Walt Disney World, the place that they actually go to for their lodging and their housing for the week that they're fulfilling the wish is Give Kids the World. So Give Kids the World is a 70 or 82 acre resort where all of the Wish kids and their families come for their week-long Walt Disney World vacation. Everything is covered. Their housing, their lodging, their theme park tickets, their entertainment is all covered by Give Kids the World. Our charity specifically, it's called Magical Wishes for Kids, specifically supports the Give Kids the World mission. So we raise money throughout the year through various events that we hold. The biggest one many people know about is the Indie Disney Meet, which we hold every year. That money and all the money that we raise throughout the year, we present a check at the end of the year to Give Kids the World. And again, that money, it goes directly to helping the village, maintain their entertainment, all of their attractions that they have there, their units where the families stay, their common areas, all of that. So I would highly encourage anybody who comes to Orlando for a Disney or Universal vacation, take a day and just go volunteer there, because they do welcome
That is a
volunteers.
wonderful idea.
Yeah, it really is eye-opening. You will feel wonderful after volunteering there for 4 hours, 6 hours. They have so many positions that they need to fill, from serving food to driving families around the resort. Many jobs that you can do. Again, you go to their website, it's gktw.org, and you can just sign up to volunteer. Tell them when you're going to be down, and they'll find you a shift to work. And it's about 15 minutes from Walt Disney World. It's just a great place. It very much reminds me of the board game Candyland. That's how they have everything kind of decorated there. And Disney and Universal are very involved with Give Kids the World. They supply them with theme park tickets. Sometimes they even supply them with lodging. They donate several thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to them as well. So they're very much involved with it. I learned about it about maybe 11 years ago, and we got involved with it. We started up the Magical Wishes for Kids to help Give Kids the World out. So it's been a great ride for sure. And again, like I say, if you have a chance to visit the village, definitely go do it. It's a voluntourism type of opportunity where you're volunteering while you're on vacation, and it's really great.
And I think that would be good. Do they let kids volunteer at all, or?
I believe there's a limit. I want to say that you have to be 14 years or older to volunteer.
Okay.
Cool. Yep. But check out our Facebook page. We're at Indie Disney Meet, and that's the name of our Facebook page. Our Twitter handle's the same. Again, we post about all of our activities and things that we're doing, throughout the year on that Facebook page.
Well, I hope we'll all be. I guess it's closed right now, right? Because
yes, it is. Yeah, until the parks start back up, and the thing about it is, with how easy it is to catch it. The kids that go there have to be really careful because they're more susceptible than most. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for participating. We went way over what I thought we were going to do, but that's always good. So, and we certainly didn't stop talking at any time.
Yeah.
So thanks again. And I want you to come back. Maybe we'll have you on with Dan.
Sure.
And we'll talk about it, because he volunteers a lot at the local Give Kids the World.
Yeah.
So where is that like about? Is that on the 192?
Yeah, it's off of 192. It's in Kissimmee.
Okay.
And it's on a road. It's called, I think it's Bash Road, is where it's at. It's located. And again, like I say, 15 minutes. You head south from a Disney property, and you get on 192, and you're pretty much there.
No, that was it's yeah, I know of it a lot, but I have never been there. I should be volunteering myself. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And anybody wants to contact me, go to my Facebook page at Nawrocki Realtor is good. My website, celebratingflorida.com/contact is also good. And if you go to Celebrating Florida, start, you can like some houses, and I'll, if you put your phone number down, I'll call you. All right, great. Thank you
Yep.
so much. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.